This is Marcia, and today I'm going to present you our latest project template from Scriptcase's release 9.3.004. Okay, I have here my Scriptcase already updated, and inside this release we have included this project for delivery tracking. The idea at the beginning was to create an application for the samples project. However, it started to grow, and then we needed to create tables, and we decided to make as a project template. So it is not a complete project, but the goal is to provide you a useful example for Google API integration, in this case for routes and delivery tracking itself. Okay. Yes, version 9.3, in this case the latest release 004. Okay, your script case must be updated, and also you have to have the license upgrade active in order to be able to import the project to your script case. Okay, so let's start. I have the project here already, but before I want to show you how to import the project. I see that I have different type of users here, so I'm going to close here my project and create a new application to import this project from scratch. Okay, so to import the project, you create a new project. Then choose delivery tracking project, which is this new option here. You click on the project and then you can name it test or whatever. Next step, since it is a template, we skip the steps languages and themes because it's already inside the project, so you don't need to worry about languages and themes. We deliver the project in 3 different languages: English, Portuguese, and Spanish, but you can add more languages if you want, just by translating the data dictionary tables. And then you have here the option to import the tables. We are going to deliver you all the database tables and also the project itself. So you need to choose if you want to store the tables within your database, or if you are going to use Scriptcase's default database, SQLite. So by using this option, Scriptcase will store within its own directory. Okay, so if you go here, you can choose your database. So here you can see the available options for database. And if you choose SQL default connection, we are going to import these tables to a Scriptcase directory. Okay, let's generate the source code of the project. As we can see, this project has about 30 applications. Let's wait until Scriptcase finishes the source code code generation. So this is a live session, and you can stop me anytime with questions. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's good morning for me. I'm located in Brazil, but I see people here from different parts of the world. So good afternoon or good evening. Okay, so source code is okay. Let's run the project. So we have the same login screen here. We can check out the project itself, and we have here the applications we've created for this project. Once you have the project imported, you are able to copy and to do whatever you want with the applications. So this is actually the idea for us. You can, for example, choose the application you want to use and move here to another folder, or copy to another project from your Scriptcase environment. Okay. Okay, so before we show here the applications itself, I want to present you the system. So for this project, we are using two types of users, the admin and the deliverman or driver. I'm going to call during the presentation the second user as driver. So we are assuming that you have a company that's going to manage driver that is which is who is delivering something, and then we are going to follow everything on Google Maps. Okay, so first let's see, let's log here as driver. I'm going to use here John and John so we can see the driver view. So the driver will have only two options. As you can see here within the menu, the driver can see the routes and the active map. Okay, so here we can also see the routes, the active routes. Concluded routes will not be displayed for the driver. Okay, only the active routes. And then by clicking here in this little map, all these images you can manage later and modify if you want. So by clicking here, you are going to view the map for this route. Okay, so let's click here, and then we can open the map and see the route. So we are using this as samples, so it's not paid option. If you want to use this library to your project, you need to pay on Google. You need at least to add your credit card. Otherwise, you're going to have this watermark here within the application. It will work normally for tests, but then you only have the watermark. If you want to remove, you just go to Google and buy or just add your credit card. Okay, so here we have instructions for you to how to implement the API. I'm going to show you here and after. And here, this is the view of the driver. Okay, if you click here, let me just zoom a little bit. So if you click here in this green point, you can change the status using form from Scriptcase. Yeah, I'm going to show you how to add the API. Okay. Okay, let me try this other point. So this is just to show you the form, but it's not, yeah, it's loading now. That's the internet. And then you can see here the status and change, failed, delivery, pending. So this is all data we added here to the database. You can change if you want. Okay. Before I close the application, let me just run this application as mobile, so you can see how the driver will see this application. We have done this with web menu, yes, a mobile menu. And then if you go to the map, you can see here also a mobile menu. So you can, in this case, the driver can use also this application within a mobile application, as a mobile application. Okay, so again, you can go here and change the status. We are going to open the form application for you to change the status and etc. Okay, let's log off, and login screen is also mobile. And now we are going to log as admin. Let me close here the mobile view. Okay. Amin is asking if I can show later how to change the page details, like to remove the username and password. Yes, yes, I can show you. I can show you. So I'm going to close this project, and I'm going to open the one I had before, because this one I was commenting and adding all the details. So it's the same project, just the difference is that this one it's prepared for this demo. Okay, the first one was just to show you how to import and etc. Okay, so let's look for the login screen and run. All the details, for example, from the login screen, you can change. This is all inside the login application. So this is an HTML template. So for example, if you open the login application, you will see which template is being used to this login application. This is a very common question regarding all the login applications we have. So if you open the login screen, you will see the template that's being used, and then you just go to external libraries, tools, external libraries, and here inside the external libraries option you will have the templates. Okay, all the templates that is being used. So if you for example try to edit the template, you will see here for example the index. This is the login screen, and you see here this length variables, and this is where we are adding the information. For example, length title page, so we can see what we have inside this length. You just copy, because we have the project in different languages, so this is why we use like this, managing with lengths from Scriptcase. So if you go here to application language, you'll be able to find all these messages and modify. Okay, I'm going to show you the application for the map. Yes, I'm just answering this question from Amin. Okay, so here we have folder for general messages, or you can search here using this search option. You type the variable, the length variable, and once you find it, for example, this is the title, and then you can change. Okay, so you have these variables within the templates. So this is the way you are going to change, to customize here the login application to yourself. Okay, so let's log now as admin. So the admin view, it's different from the driver. So it's really important here you to remind to change the credentials. If you go here to the menu option, you have the settings options where you can change the company info. This company info that you have here inside this application, this is the one we added for the example, but it's not going to work for you, because here this is our project with our credentials and etc. So the first thing for you to use the project is to create the credentials inside Google. So let's do this now. I'm going to open here Google Console API. In this case, Google Maps API console. Okay, I'm going to log out from this user because I have already the project I want to create from scratch for you to see the steps. Let me choose, for example, videos Scriptcase, no, this one. Okay, so this is another user, and this user does not have the project created. Okay, so welcome to the Google. This is in Portuguese because my browser is in Portuguese, and then I'll just say OK to the terms. And then here I have to create my project in order to use the APIs. I will change here the language so we can see in English. Preferences. Okay, language, English. Okay. For this project, we are using 3 different APIs from this area. And to see and use the APIs, the first step is to create the project. And this project will give you the key, and this key you're going to add here to this application. Okay, so let's create a project. You can name here my project, and then you have to add your organization, location, and create. Google is getting automatically from my computer or browser. Okay, so now we are creating the project, and after you create the project, you will enable the APIs. So we are going to see the APIs options. Enable APIs and services. You can search for the APIs. In this case, we are using Maps APIs. Then you have different options here. And then you can use for different pose the APIs. For this project, we are using geocoding API, geolocation API, and Maps JavaScript API. Okay, this is the main one for this project. So let's start by enabling this one. So you go here and enable. Okay, so once you enable the API, you go to credentials, and here you can create your credentials. Create credentials, and you have to create this type of credential, API key. Okay, the first option, API key. Let's click API key, and then this is your API key. You copy and you change here inside the company info. So each company must have its own API token. Okay, so if you have only one company, you just need one project and one token. If you have more than one token, if you have more than one company, sorry, then you need to create different projects and different tokens. Okay. Okay, so back here we are going to restrict keys. So this is the way we are using here, and then you go to application restrictions and choose HTTP refers website, and here you are going to add all the websites and IPs to view the maps. Okay, in this case you must within the template project we've added localhost and our own domains, but for your case you need to customize with your server info. Okay, so you add IPs and everything you need. So again, this is a paid API from Google, and then here you will see the options. Since we are using without adding the credit card, it gives me only one as limit. But if you add the credit card, if I'm not in mistake, or if it does not, depending, like here in Brazil, they enable 2,000 loads per day once you add the credit card. Okay, so I don't know if it's only here in Brazil or it's everywhere. You need to create and check. Okay, once we have the credential, let's go to API again, just to enable or the geolocation and geocoding. Okay, so just enable. You don't need to create another credential, it's only one per project. That's okay, just need to enable. And the second one, geocoding API. Okay, enable. So now you are able to use the APIs inside your project. Okay. Can we change the API at runtime? Yes, because we have added this information inside the database. So as you can see, this is the application for the final user, and you have here the form application for you to change. Okay, so this is inside the admin view. Okay, so talking about database, let me close here and show you how we are organizing here the database. I'm going to access through database builder, which is our database admin. SQLite is the one we are using for this project. And then here you can see all the tables we have created. So for example, inside company info, we have the fields for address, and you're going to see here and after that this table is very important, because by adding the address, we can get latitude and longitude automatically to send to Google. So this table, it's really important. And then here you have the option to add the token, and this is dynamic. This is the dynamic. You can make one project like Sylvain is asking if, so we can make one project and change each company. Yes, or you can add different companies, because as I'm showing here, you have this table. I have only one company here, but you can include new companies, or you can add one project per company, whatever you prefer. Okay. Okay, so now back to the project. I'm going to I want to show you the applications where we are creating the map. If you see here the project, most of the applications are grids and forms. So this is only for you to view the data or to change the data. Form application to change data from database tables, and grid to view. So they're not very interesting for us. Like today, we are going to focus within the applications where we are adding the maps. Okay, and for the applications, for these applications, we are using blank, and we are adding all the codes inside the blank. Okay, so we have two applications very important inside this project, which are gmap. This is the map from the driver. Okay, and gmap admin, which is the application for the admin map. Okay, the difference is that the admin will see the last saved location by the driver, and the driver map will display the current location, and then we'll be able to change within that form I was showing you before. So what the admin wants to see is where the driver is delivering and how is the status inside the delivery points, etc. But this is how we planned the system, and you can change or you can plan whatever you want. Okay, this is just one way to do it and one way to implement. So as I said before, the idea more than the example itself, it's how it's done. So here you have Gmap, blank application. They are very similar, and we have the Gmap admin, and this is the one we are going to focus here. This test application is programmed for one driver. No, in this case, we have here drivers. Let me show you. Delivers. We have added two drivers, okay, Bill and John. So if you want to add more drivers, and the admin will see here all the routes from all the drivers. So I see here this route from John, it's active. I mean it's pending, and then this one from John is in route, this one from Bill it's paused. Okay, so you can have more drivers, and yes, if you need. The company table is it geometric? Sorry, Abdul, I didn't understand. Is this application making the delivery route automatically? Well, automatically, no, because you can use another API for that, which is, let me see here, directions API. Okay, this API, for example, you can add a planned route according to Google Maps, like the best route. So we are not implementing for this case. For this case, we are just watching the driver moving inside the map. We are not suggesting a route. So if you want to suggest a route, you need to use this direction API. And if you want to calculate the distance, you have the distance matrix. So then you have different types of APIs. Yeah, in this case, we are using latitude and longitude. Is it what you mean? Yes. So once you, inside this form, where you add the addresses, when you add a new address, we are storing inside the database. Let me show you here the application. That's the form TB addresses. Form TB addresses. Okay, inside this form, we are adding the addresses. And here we are using some events to save the address inside the database already with the latitude and longitude. So the driver don't need to add this information, of course, or the admin. Okay, so we are using here JavaScript function to get the latitude and longitude, and then we are adding this inside the application, inside the database, Here I'm just calling this API, and then inside onValidate I am adding the fields, and I'm getting the latitude and longitude, so we have this information inside the database, and we are able to pass to Google. Okay. When will this be available? The project, it's already available inside Scriptcase. You just need to have your version updated to 9.3.004, and then you're able to import the project as we've done at the beginning of this presentation. Okay. Okay, is there more questions? Okay, so since the admin is going to be static, so we don't have much to monitor, so this Gmap admin is not the most interesting for us. The most interesting application is the Gmap itself, which is the one from the driver. Okay, so I'm going to give you here an overview about the code itself. So let me just zoom a little bit the screen. Okay, so first we are using this part here, this message, just to display when we open here the map routes. Let me open here, for example, and not from this user. I need to log off and log again as driver. So this application we are analyzing is explaining this route. Okay, so this application here, this message with the instructions is the message we are adding here at the beginning. So if you're going to use this application, it's just you just need to remove this part of the code. Okay, and then here we are starting the PHP to get the information from the database to be used by the map. So we are using here we are selecting the tables, and then as I was showing you before, you have all the tables already created. Okay, so here we are getting the company address, the company address info, and this is where we are adding the house icon. If you see here the house icon, so this is where the company is located. Okay, here when you see the house, because we are getting this from the database, and then this is why you can have more than one company. It was a question from earlier. Okay. Okay, let's go down here. Here you can have all these comments also inside your application. So in this part we are getting the traveled route, and here you have just some samples of the coordinates, but as I told you before, we are using that form. So we are getting here from TB routes coordinating, because we want to have it dynamic. So this is why we are using the routes coordinates table, and we are not using it fixed, but this is just an example of how Google is going to understand and read it. Okay. Okay, so here's the end of the database info, and then we start the HTML to design the page and to display the information that we want to display. So we start here the HTML, and then first we call two libraries from Scriptcase, the jQuery and the checkbox. This is for the iframe to the modal to display, for example, when you are inside a point, then we open here this modal to show the form. So this is being done by this library. So we call here with sc include lib macro. And then we call another library called no sleep, which does not allow the phone lock the screen. So if you are the driver, for example, and this answer the question from Gonzalo, he asked, not Gonzalo, yes, Gonzalo, the driver needs some app in his phone. No, because this is a web application. So the driver will need to open the browser and access the application as I was showing here before. So once you access the application, you will see the route, and then you can enable this wake lock. And this is exactly this library I'm showing you here, no sleep. So this is the library that we are using to have this option here inside the menu. So the driver can pause the route, can finish the route, or can enable this. So for example, if you are driving, your phone will be locked inside this screen. Okay. So back here to the code, we call the library no sleep, okay, and then we call API from Google Maps, and the token is being formatted dynamically, as we saw inside the database. So the value comes from company information table, as we saw. Okay, and then we start JavaScript to call the API Google Maps, and here we are just declaring the variables that will be used to fill the information. So I'm saying here we are passing PHP values to JavaScript, okay? Okay. And then you have the zoom information. You can change if you want. We are adding here the zoom default as 12. So the zoom is this area when you load the application. If you want, you can have it more zoomed or less. So you will define this here. We are adding this 12, but you can change. Okay, and here this function we are using to display the icon of the company, and call the function to display the markers and draw the route taken. So this function is called by the init location procedure function below, okay, which starts automatically when you load the page. Okay, so here is where you set the company address logo. Let me see. Yeah, this icon here. Okay, if you open, this is provided by Google API, but you can add different icons if you want. So this is the icon for the house, for the company. You can add, for example, the company brand or whatever you want. You just need to change here this URL. Okay, so I'm just adding some comments here. The maps API GeoCoder function is used to turn on the addresses coordinators and vice versa. We have changed this function to be performed in the company enrollment forms and the addresses. So this function is no longer used in this application. Okay, because as I said before, we are changing everything inside the database. Okay, so now here starts the function to draw the route taken. This route you see here in red. Okay, so this is the function that is drawing this route. And then you have here the color. The color is red, but you can change. Okay, and then the function to display the bookmarks, the collection points in this case. It changes depending on the name of the PHP or the XML file. No, sorry. Changing these depending on the name of your PHP or XML file. Okay, yes, because we are using an XML file. If you see here, gmaps markers, we can go here and find this gmap markers here. This is another blank. For us to get here the information for the table TB markers. Okay, and then we define, according to this application, we define the points and the color. If it's for example pending, you have the status, and according to the status you have different colors here. For example, green is okay, red is finished, failed, yeah, yellow is en route, pending, yes, yellow is pending, red is failed, green is okay. So you have here all the icons: yellow dot, green dot, red, and blue. What is blue? Yeah, blue is in delivering, during delivery. Okay, so now we start this code snippet just to build the HTML displayed when clicking inside the bookmarks. What is it? This one here. This box you are seeing here, and then you have this change status. You click and you open the form application to change the status. So this is where we are building this box. And you have here change status label. You can change if you want also. Where are we calling the form? The form application to change.
Aqui tem lista.
Okay.
Vou botar esse valor aqui. Aqui, cadê? Click. Pronto, aqui tem click que chama essa função change bar.
Okay, so here you have this one click that is calling this change marker function. Yeah. Okay. And then you have here the listener responsible for monitoring if there is click on the place mark. And this to display the HTML that we are creating here inside this piece of code here. Okay. So now this download URL is the function called at the beginning of the previous function, which display the bookmarks. Use it to read the XML content from gmap markers. This one I've already showed you. Okay. So then we have this function do nothing, support function only for the previous function, download URL. And function no longer used in this app because we are using the database. Okay, so the servers, it serves to transform the coordinates addresses or the opposite. Okay, so let's check here this icon. Is it the same house? Okay, yeah, it's the same. So we just these functions that we are not using, it's because we are setting everything inside the database. Mm-hmm.
com PHP, né?
Mm-hmm.
Já
Yeah, for this one that is converting the timestamp, we are getting from PHP. So this function is no longer used in this app because we are using here this another application, Ajax Save Location.
ele não tá usando mais essa data e hora.
Yeah, so we are getting Ajax Save Location. This is another application we are using to insert the location. And here we have the date and time. So that's why we add there that we are not using. Gmap. So this function save is used to save inside the database the coordinates from the driver. So the dt time parameter is no longer being used, and it can be removed because we are adding everything inside this application Ajax save location. Okay, because we want the driver to add the address, and we get everything from there. So we just call here the application inside the function. So we are adding this in PHP, and then we start the GPS function, checking the current location and monitoring the offset. So this is just an arrow to display the function in case of not being able to get the current location, and here an alert to tell the user if the current position could not be located. Okay, so here we have a very important function, which is the function to set the current position of the driver. Okay, so this function is where you can know the current location. In this case, the driver is here, so you have the current position. So this is the function that we are using for this current position. And then display and watch is the function that calls the function of drawing the car icon and to monitor. So this is the function that will watch where the car is passing, and then we'll draw the and then set current position, watch position, and monitor the offset of the current position to call the set marker position, which is a complementary function. Okay. This is just an alert to set if the browser does not support the this amazing API. And then we start the jQuery, the marker controls, the route controls, and here it's just for the responsive buttons from the responsive menu. And then we finish and we start the responsive menu. So this menu here, this one is from the application. So this is a regular menu from the Scriptcase. If you go here to the applications, you have the menu. Root, let me go here to root. Okay, this one. So this is the main menu of the application, which is a tree menu. Okay, but then you have a second menu. Remember when we were watching this from mobile application? You have this. Let me load again to update. So this is the application menu, and then inside the root you have a second menu. Not root, sorry, active map. Okay, this one here. Okay, so this is the menu we start draw, to design here. So this is all CSS from this menu. Yeah, okay, so let me see here the questions. Driver current position is saved to the database in real time. Yes, we are saving everything inside the database. So inside the application you have also, if you go here, let me close this. If you go here to the menu, you have, let me log as admin. You are able to watch everything being saved inside the database. Okay, when you go here to security, you have the log, and then here we need to search. Yeah, the database is empty, but then it will be here inside this application, all the inserts from log. But you can create your own table as well if you don't want to use the log from Scriptcase. Okay. Yeah, so all these applications we saw here, they are the core from this project. Okay, so this is everything you have to study to understand, and then maybe try to implement others, as I was saying, the distance matrix or directions API, just to try a 2.0 version from the project. Yeah, is there more questions you want to ask? So this is more or less what I wanted to show you today regarding this project. I recommend you to download and test and check out here the applications. Don't remember that you need to create your project and change the API, otherwise it will not work for you, because I'm using here the domains and everything from the template. Okay, Amin is saying that he's going to add the directions API as well. Yeah, it can be a suggestion for the project also, a second version of this project. Okay guys, so just while you are adding the questions, yeah, I wanted to show you quickly here new options from this release 004, complementing the 9.3. Okay, so Jeff is asking if I can show how to add the address and get the latitude and longitude automatically. Okay, so yeah, this is inside this form, which is the form TB addresses. Okay, so we are using these two events. As we did this as example, this API is running just once a day. So if I do now, maybe it will not work, but okay. And then inside here, programming, PHP methods, JavaScript methods, you have the function. Yes, so since this one is a development version, Google is limiting us to access the API just once per day. So you have to pay in order to have more accesses per day. So this is why our test here is not bringing, but if you get the API, it will work for you. Yeah. Is there any more questions regarding the API? I'm going to post the to add this video to our YouTube channel, so you're able to see again and to take the questions. If you have more questions, you can type within the video comments, and then we are going to answer. Thank you very much for your time, guys, and I see you next presentation. Okay, thank you very much. Bye bye.